Condemned Criminal Origins was not what I was expecting. All I knew going in is that it seemed like an older survival horror game that a good friend of mine absolutely loves. Given the title, I expected a prison full of monstrosities, so imagine my surprise when I'm on the run from the police, pursuing a serial killer while clubbing junkies with pipes and using CSI gear to investigative effect. Even though you start with a gun and pick more up along the way, Condemned is melee focused. You can grab almost any pipe or piece of wood, and looking at these makeshift weapons before you decide to grab them will tell you if it's better or weaker in certain areas. You also have a taser to incapacitate foes momentarily, but the best way to make it through the numerous fights is to block an attack at the right time. Like the taser, this will stun the enemy and give you some time to get one or two hits in depending on the speed of your weapon. Beware though, as enemies can block your attacks as well for a similar effect. The key to successfully blocking seems to be visual only, so I had a difficult time avoiding damage. Those few times when I was able to block successfully and then drop my attacker with a single massive blow, well, that was immensely satisfying. Most of the time, it was all I could do to make it through unkilled before searching for painkillers like I was in Max Payne. Oh, and having arbitrary blocks that require a particular weapon to pass, like axing through a wooden door or disrupting an electronic lock with a shovel, don't ask, feel more like time wasters rather than an interesting use of the various tools at your disposal. After all, the weapons really are just slight changes in game numbers with a different skin attached. Even the shotgun sort of behaves in this fashion. And yet the atmosphere was positive. Despite the strangeness of collecting dead birds, the CSI moments are entertaining, and the dark, strict corridors of the abandoned apartment building or the abandoned subway are oppressive, especially when you're dreading another multi-man melee encounter. That your character has some supernatural power that causes not only the serial killer but a strange friend of your father to take an interest in you also lends an entertaining air of mystery. I wanted to know more, despite the tone of, "You are super special, and if you play long enough, we will tell you how super special you are." That's right, you, the player. I can see the game's appeal, and if I could get a better grip on the combat, I might have played this one to the end. Then again, if this is meant to be a survival horror game, and I'm leaning towards that being the case, perhaps you aren't supposed to get a handle on the combat. Maybe you're meant to be surviving scrapes with junkied up hobos by the skin of your teeth. If that's the case, then I don't know how much more of it I could take.